Feivel Wininger was taken on a death march through the rain and the snow in Romania to a ghettoized territory called Transnistria. Along the way of the death march, his uncle died, his mother died. He had with him his wife and his 16-month-old daughter, Helen, who, as the death march unfolded, grew increasingly smaller and more emaciated until she grew so weak she couldn't even cry. They ended up in a ghetto in Transnistria where Feivel started playing the violin. And he would play this violin at these parties for these Ukrainian farmers. And these parties would go on for days on end, and Feivel would play the entire time. And the deal was, when the party was over, whatever leftover food, firewood, and water there was, Feivel could bring home to his family and friends. So through playing the violin, through playing this violin, Feivel was able to sustain not only himself, but his family and friends for the rest of the Holocaust. After the Holocaust, Feivel and his family immigrated to Israel, where he continued to play this instrument, which he called friend. He'd play it with his own friends as a source of enjoyment, but he would also play it for his young daughter, Helen, who had survived because of his ability to play this instrument. So as she grew up, he would take out the violin and play it for her, and tell her the stories about this friend that had saved his life and her mother's life. As Feivel grew older, he started playing less and less. He developed arthritis. It became more difficult for him to play the instrument. And by the time he turned 90, Helen went to him and said, "Let's do something special for your 90th birthday. What can I do for you?" And he looked at her and he said, "Please, I want to play my friend again. It's been several years now, and I know he needs to be repaired. So if you could get friend repaired so I could play him one more time, that would be the best gift you could give me." So Helen brought the violin to Amnon Weinstein, but didn't tell him the story behind the violin. He took a look at it and said, "You know what, this instrument, it was never a great instrument. It's an instrument that Feivel bought when he was in the ghetto, so not very expensive at all, not a great virtuoso instrument. And it was in disrepair. It's just been several years since it had had maintenance done on it." And so he told her, just not knowing the histories of the instrument, just saying, "Based on what I'm seeing, you'd be better off just buying a new violin. It's going to be too expensive to repair this one, and it's just not worth that kind of money." And so she went back to her father and said, I have a better idea, Dad. I'll buy you a new violin for your 90th birthday. And Feivel just started to cry. And he said, "No, you don't understand, please. I want to play my friend again. It's not just about playing the violin. It's about holding and playing my friend." So Helen went back to Amnon, and now she told him the story behind this violin. And he immediately understood. And he promised her he'd fix it better than new at no charge. And she brought the violin to Feivel on his 90th birthday, and he was reunited with his friend. And by this time, unfortunately, his arthritis was too far advanced. He could never play again. But nevertheless, from that day until the day he died, every day he'd take out this instrument, and he would hold it in his arms, and he would cry these tears of gratitude for this friend that had saved his life and his family during the Holocaust.